Now, our back end. So, what do we need to know about the back end? This is where all of our power is generated from, right? So, all of the muscles back here are basically responsible for all of the movement of the dog, our springy action, everything comes from back here, right? What tends to happen with our back end is it's the first thing to go on us, right? So, it's probably the most important area to massage. Any work that we do here is gonna keep the muscles there, suppler for longer. It's gonna keep nutrients flowing to the area. It's gonna help the lymphatic system drain stuff from the area, which is good for getting rid of metabolic waste and all of that stuff. It increases blood flow to the area, oxygenation, all of the regular stuff that massage does. Super good for back here. What is this area prone to? Loads of injuries. Dislocation of the knee, hip dysplasia, arthritis. We can hurt our ankles. The patella can get dislocated. Loads of stuff that massage is going to help either recovery or prevent. Our point of hip, which is our marker back here, is going to be basically on gunner here. We're going to pat, there it is, right there. So some dogs you can feel it easier than others. The ilium is the top pelvis bone that comes through here, much like the scapula here. That's our marker. All right, so let's get going.
Okay, so as usual, please check out the video on how to apply the strokes and the proper technique. This is a really sensitive area for the dog, so we don't want to cause them any pain. It's really important. Now, I've identified the point of hip here. Once we do that, the first thing we're going to do in the area is just sweat the front of the point of hip, which basically just means we're putting our hand with a little bit of pressure on the area. This is going to warm us up for everything that we're going to do. Next up, we're going to again work on the front of the point of hip in a straight line, and we're going to do some flat hand compression. Again, we start light and then we build up to medium and heavy, but always start light. Then working in the same area, we're going to use the tips of our fingers. Now, depending on how big your dog is, you can use 1 finger, 2 fingers, a few fingers. And again, we're just going to do some cross fiber friction off the spine in the same area. And then to close off the section, we're going to finish with heavy compression. Again, it's the front of the point of hip. I'm not going any further past the point of hip itself. Again, just in a straight line off the spine. Never go on the spine. Okay, now we're going to go into the back area of the point of hip, and we're going to start with some light side hand percussion. Now again, depending on your dog, you can use your fingertips, but Gunnar has a little bit of size to him, so we're going to use the side of our hand. Just keep your wrist loose and your fingers loose. Then we're going to do a little bit of heavier compression in the area because we've already warmed it up, so we can do a few passes of that, no problem. Then we're going to do a little bit of kind of mild jostling slash friction of the fascia in the area. Again, this is just warming it up for what we're going to be doing later on. Then cross fiber friction here all the way the front and the back of the point of hip, just off the spine. Remember, if you feel the spine, you're doing it in the wrong area. And finally, we're going to close with percussion of the front and the back of the point of hip, nice and medium. Next up is the thigh area, and here I'm just pointing out where the patella is, so that's where we're going to stop. All the fleshy stuff up here is what we're working on. We don't need to go into the knee and the leg area. Now I'm starting with some backhand compression on the back area of the thigh. Again, you can go light, then build up to medium, and then do heavy. Then we're going to switch to the front part of the thigh. Again, up and down in straight lines using light pressure, then medium, and then heavy. And then we can do both hands if the dog is big enough. Gunnar here is. So we can do both hand compression on both areas of the muscle. Then we're going to do a little bit of palpation in between the two muscles here, and we're going to hook around in a little C section. So we're stopping where the fleshy part ends, and we're going all the way up. We can do this light, medium, and then heavy, and then we're going to close the area with double backhand compression again. Next up, we move into our hamstring muscles, and this is a wonderful area of your dog to massage. There's so many lovely fleshy muscles here to work on. So we're going to start with some compression. kind of just get to it whatever way you can. It's a bit of an awkward area, so whatever way you can compress the muscles is great, as long as you start light and then build up to medium. Then we can draw some nice light, medium and heavy palpation lines, basically in a straight line, hard to miss, lots of flesh back here to work with. We can do this a few times if we want, as long as the dog lets us. And then we're going to finish off again with some heavier backhand compression. Then we're going to go into the last area of the dog that we're massaging, and this is an area that our dogs aren't necessarily used to being touched in, so just go slow and be careful, okay? We're going to do some light flat hand percussing on all of the fleshy parts, nice and easy, and we can build up to medium and heavier pressure, but just start light. Then we're going to switch to some circular friction. Now there's two ways of doing circular friction. I'm doing the continuous version here. To see the other version, check out the strokes video, which you should have done already. But there's two different ways of doing this, both are equally acceptable. Gunner has his leg stretched a little bit here, so we're going to finish off again with some heavier percussion of the area. Everything's been warmed up, and then we're going to finish up near the knee. Now there's not a lot of flesh here, so just be careful. I'm going super light and just using a couple of my fingers, so we don't need to do anything heavy in this area here. It's just very sensitive, and it's just nice and light is the name of the game. And that's it. That is how to massage the pelvic limb of your dog.
What do you want? What do you want? Hey.